What's going on, everybody? In this video, we're gonna go over what I was doing for the past 4 days down in the Florida Keys on the flats for bonefish, tarpon, and permit. I'm gonna go over the gear I used, how I fished spots, and kind of what I was doing to look for those fish. All right, starting off, we got the little Ned shrimp right here. This is the beer run color. I'll put a link down below. We're on day 1 by myself. It is wicked shallow, so I'm not sure how this is going to work out, but we're going to go push around this bank, see if we can find some bonefish, maybe some tarpon. Try to keep you guys out of the sun, but I know we're probably staring at it right now. So we're at the upper edge of the flat. I'm going to blind cast around these potholes. The current is coming from this way. It's pushing over the flat, and there's these potholes and grass out here. Can't see yet, so I'm just going to blind cast those potholes and see if there's bones hanging out in them. Kind of their area that they could sit in as the low tide pushes. You know, they can hang out in these, feel safe, wait for bait to get pushed over them, like little shrimps and crabs and whatnot.
As the tide filled in, I moved up the bank looking in shallower water on the bottom that I thought might hold bonefish.
There's 3 of them. Whole school. Oh, I just spooked a whole school of bonefish. Just couldn't see them. Here they are again. There was about 10 of them. Oh, of course, can't see anything. Needlefish every time grabs it. All right, we got a new salty Ned shrimp on because Mr. Cuda decided to take mine. Got that little beer run color. It's nice, white, little clear gold on the bottom. I don't know if color really makes much of a difference right now, but it's what I've got in the bag, you know. We're gonna keep doing the opposite of what every bonefish would ever do. Generally, we'd go out and try to sight cast everything, but just can't see anything. So I'm gonna blind cast this area a bit because we saw that school. I saw a couple others kind of moving around and see if we can get any to hit that way. Fishing that salty Ned shrimp on a 1/10 ounce right now. The water's pretty shallow, maybe 2 feet. The current inside the cove right here is a little bit softer. It's not pushing as much. So the bait doesn't need a lot of weight right now to get down. I'm gonna try to fish stuff areas kind of like this again. So I can use that it's a 1/15 ounce, I think. It's a 1/15 ounce. And I can go with the lighter bait in here and still kind of pop it around that grass without getting it to like nosedive in. And then in those higher current areas, I'm gonna fish that 1/10 ounce, potentially a little bit heavier, but mostly like 1/10 to 1/15. With the right rod, you can cast it pretty far. You don't have to worry about it getting buried down too bad. It takes a little getting used to though, especially when you're coming from me. I've been fishing a 8, 9-inch bait, 7-inch bait all summer, big heavy rod, 50-pound braid. Now I'm throwing a 1/10 ounce, weight, 1/15 ounce, 2-inch bait, medium light rod, 12-pound top shot, 12 pound. All right, we're gonna go hide. So the lightning behind me, it's a couple miles away, but as you can see, it's starting to dump right now. It's kind of sunny rain, so I think this one's gonna pass, but I wanna go hide just in case. Yep, let's get out of here. All right, storm's for the most part passed. Gotta pump the water out of the boat. I don't have a bilge pump, I just have the hand pump, but I wanna get this out quick and then go hit this flat again, see if those bonefish are hanging out on it still, even though this will probably spook them to high heck. Overcast and rain is not the best conditions, but it's gonna be clear out there a bit for a second. So I was just cruising down the bank. God, there's bonefish all around the boat right now. I was just cruising down the bank and just blind casting as I'm going, kind of staring in the water. And a barracuda comes out, and like a big one, like a 24-inch barracuda comes out, just murders my bait, and I look behind it, and there's like 6 bonefish. Just like, you have got to be shitting me right now. My luck can't be any worse right now. So I'm retying. I got the stuff out, and let's see if we can get one real fast. We are running away from this storm. Holy shoot! It is nasty on the other side of this island, but I think we can get the ramp before I get dumped on. If it's calm around this corner. But where I was fishing is like, you can already see by that point it's turning black. Woo! I used the storm as a perfect chance to grab some lunch and got back out afterwards for a couple hours. Unfortunately, all we did was lose 3 bonefish, and the next day, day 2 didn't turn out much better, but we had I'm hoping we're on a bone right now and not a cuda. But whatever it is, it's got drag pulling on me hard. Or I'm on a shark, I don't actually know. Okay. Here, fishy. I'm gonna be honest, I really thought it was a bonefish. Really, really did. Yeah, buddy. Beauty. Just gonna measure on him, I guess. Hey guys, comes in at 21 inches. I don't know what legal size is. He's going back either way, so thanks for the fight. Let's get him going. All right, guys, it is day number 3, and as you can see by the sunscreen, I am burnt. Day 1 and 2, I chased bonefish across the flats, and I found them. I hooked a couple, and I lost all of them. They pulled the hook, whatever, so the sight fishing was super tough yesterday, so today I'm changing things up, and we're gonna go look for tarpon. It's kind of a new area, but it's supposed to be like a tarpon-y area. So I'm gonna go fish around the flats and deeper cuts right now because the water's really low, but it's coming in. But we're gonna go look for tarpon. They're supposed to be a little bit easier, see if we can get on something. Let's go. All right, there's tarpon right up here. I'm afraid to like stand up. Oh, freaking. I got stuff rolling super shallow. I think they're tarpon. We're gonna get up there. There's some on the outside, but there's some on the inside, and the inside ones seem like they are feeding. Tarpon back there. And we got some here. Man, they're really not into the Ned bait today, huh? Super against it, which is weird. Yesterday and the day before, they were like all about the micro Ned. And today they kind of hate it. That's one, I think. Yeah, that's a tarpon. Ew! Just had to get it farther up in there. Just had to get it farther up in there. That's all they wanted it. They wanted it in the bushes. Come here, bud. I'm just trying to tell you that Taylor Swift got engaged. That's all. Maybe take a photo with you. We could send it to her for engagement. She said she hasn't heard from you in a while. There we go, guys. Nedrig Tarpon up in the bushes. Dope. He's a little guy. We'll get him going. I told you, bud. We're just getting a photo. We'll send it over Taylor Swift. They're going to enjoy it, you know? They're going to like your picture. No, 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 no. Don't shake. Pictures are for staying still. There you go. There you go. Now you can shake. Get your shake on. Come on. Remember what I said about shaking? This is the time that you shake, bud. There we go. Ned Shrimp Tarpon. Skipping the boat. I drove all the way to the Everglades, I drove all the way to the Keys just to do more skipping. Of course I did. Of course, when I can't get bit, I just go skip mangroves and I catch fish. Check out the shark right in the grass. I mean, we're in like a foot of water. What'd you find in there, dude? How about you show me some bonefish, yeah?
So I saw that shark. I was pulling across the flat because I got into just absolutely way too shallow of water. And so right after I saw him, I walked up onto the front deck and there was a school of bonefish just all around the boat. We finally got into them, but make sure you stay to the end of the video and I'll tell you why I was losing all these bonefish at first. And I'll show you what I did to change to actually start landing them.
No. No, 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 no. That's a bonefish on. Rod tips up high. Did I break? No, I popped off. Okay. Okay. Alright guys, the camera died right when I was fighting that, so I ended up losing it. But we're gonna look around. That was a big school. They're not gonna go super, super far. They should hang out a little bit. Gotta find my remotes. Kind of lost everything for a second here. Don't know where all my stuff is at because I'm all unorganized right now. There we go, I need that. Okay. Got the power pole remote. We have Procure on the bait to make it smell good. Let's see if we can find those bones again. I got the little brown Ned shrimp on. I'm gonna stand up real slow because they've been like right next to the boat here. I don't see them, but it's pretty windy right now, so I can't really see. Oh shit, they're right out in front of me, per usual. They really like hanging out in front of the boat. It's always just one eat and then they take off. They all get excited. tip up. Let's get this thing in. Give him no room to pop the hook. I can see the bait. He's still on. I gotta. Okay, now we got him because he's got a pile of grass on his face. He's not gonna be able to do anything about it. Boy, I'm gonna bounce you into the boat here in a second. There it is, guys. Bonefish on the jig, right in the mouth. I'm not sure how I've been losing them. He comes in right at 17 inches. Yes, I horsed him in for sure. I'm not sure why these jigs keep coming out of their mouth, but there we go. Tarpon, bonefish. Let's keep going. All right, we got a school of them coming up over here. Trying to see where they're going. Oh, they're coming up right here. Okay, I'm gonna cast way out up here. Let them come. And get a good whiff of that thing. Come on. Another guy. Do my best to keep him on. Jesus. And I'm gonna sit down. Keep that tip up. Don't let him muck about. Yeah, sorry guys. I was actually trying to push up the flat. I was gonna throw a trolling motor out, but these guys moved in. They were coming towards me, so I had turned everything off. I was able to fire a cast out. Missed one, missed a second, and then he ate. I could see the bait outside his mouth though, so I don't know how good of a hook I've got in him, but he's a nice one, I'll tell you that. Oh, he's trying to hide under the boat actually. He's like a redfish here. Oh, really nice one. My little Ned shrimp just popped out of his mouth, but that's an 18-inch bonefish right there. Light line Ned shrimp. Bonefish, baby. Oh, love this so much. Let's get him going. He is a chunky beast too. Look at him go. Look at him right there. Beautiful, beautiful fish. Here's a bonefish right here. There's a handful of them. 2 of them. Let's see if I can get a cast. Way out, where are they going? See where they're going first. We're on. We're on. This is amazing. He's trying to run with his friends. Oh my God, this one ate. This one's got a full stomach. He ate his Wheaties this morning because he just pulled off 75 feet of line on me. I could see the bait outside his mouth. Another 17, 18 incher. Perfect. Love it. I am all about it. He's gonna do a run right there. Yep, run, run, run. Look at that freaking reel. Jesus. Put a little bit of pressure on him. I am going to stand up, make sure there's no sharks on him. Come here, bud. You're looking nice. You're looking big. Chunky. I think he might be bigger than 17, but we'll find out. I'm not gonna say anything yet. This is when you need a net. All right, guys, 23-inch bonefish. That is my PB right there. Little Ned shrimp right in the mouth. What is going on? Yes. Oh, love it. Love it, love it, love it. New Tinder picture right there. Of course, the ladies are gonna love the bonefish photo. All right, guys. This guy gave up a nice fight. I'm gonna get him shaking, shaking, shaking in the water. Get some movement on him. Oh, look at a beauty. Look at the beauty. Check out the chrome bone. All right, I will say one thing. Permit are stupid hard to target. Now, that's, to be fair, I have no right going after them. I have no idea what I'm doing. I don't know where to find them, why they move up and down, where at, all that jazz. I've no idea. So I got no business there. But I was like, you know what? I've got the bonefish and tarpon. It's high tide. Let's go move around the flats. I swear, if I start my boat on this island, that island over there, you're gonna see a wake, and it's a permit leaving the flat. Like, that's how sensitive they are. I pulled up on one flat, like 300 feet away, I see a head wake. I'm like, no way. Oh, there's one right behind me. Yep. And it just goes, meow. And you can see their fins come out of the water. Pretty distinctive little sharp fins. But they are just so spooky. Bonkers. I'll stick with bonefish. All right, day 4 is looking like a straight beauty. And we're gonna go back to those flats where we saw the bonefish yesterday. Plan is to hopefully see them get on the flat before the tide switches, so the tide's going out. I'm gonna get onto the flat, anchor up for the incoming tide, wait for the incoming tide, see if they come back onto the flat like they did yesterday. Bonefish are freaking crazy. They could be halfway to Cuba by now. I don't know. And then once the water gets too deep for the bonefish, we'll move up along the bank and go for the tarpon. Depending on how the tide goes right now, I might actually push against the bank for the tarpon early, hit those for a bit, because why not? They're up there and we'd be sitting around kind of waiting anyways. So let's jam out there. It's gonna take me a little bit of a long ride. I can't see in the water yet, and I don't have electronics on my boat, so I drive the flats out here by eyesight, and when there's no sunshine, there's no eyesight to see in the water. So wish me luck. We'll take our time, we'll get out there, and we'll start fishing when we can. I don't know what this is. It's probably a cuda. Or it's a bone. I don't know. Because I saw... Jesus. I saw the wake on the surface, but... I don't know what I'm on, but it ain't stopping. If it's a permit, I'll be super stoked. Okay, we're going to chase this thing down because it is not stopping. Am I filming? I am filming, okay. It's gotta be a shark, right? Let's get sharked. Cooted. I have no idea. Maybe a mega-sized cuda or a really big bone, I don't know. Yeah, it's an early morning blind casted bone, or it was, he was making a big old surface wake, I'll tell you that. Dark guy. Yeah. Freaking bonefish waking the surface early morning. Can't believe that. Saw that wake and I was like, yeah, let's just cast at it. Nothing, and then let's cast at it again, and boom. 21-inch bonefish to start the morning off a head wake. Bro, you were throwing a wake like you were a shark or a giant permit. Oh, I get it, you want to go? Let's go. Let's take you back into the water. Take you back into the water. I don't know if you guys can see him chilling right there. He's just chilling, hanging out. Look at him go. Have a good morning, Mr. Bonefish. I'll see you later, yeah? All right, we got somebody. We got a permit right here. That's a permit. Oh my gosh, that is a permit. That's a permit. I watched them. Oh my God. Okay, we're gonna put some, I gotta chase him down. I'm running out of line. Holy Jesus. Bro, I gotta slow you down. You took hundreds of feet of line. Holy shit. I saw him out of the corner of my freaking eye. I am chasing him down because I am so low on line, I can see my backing. Holy Jesus, that thing ran. Oh my gosh. I cannot believe he ate. It wasn't even like a great cat. Oh, yeah, he's gone. That was hyper frustrating. I just retied, but it broke my braid. So I'm wondering, it swam up to the super shallows. I mean, it stripped like 200 feet of line in 5 seconds. And I'm wondering if it got my braid around a piece of coral or something. And when it did that third or fourth run, whatever it was, it just kind of snapped that line. That's, yeah, that's the first permit I have ever hooked. That's fishing. And we're gonna keep doing some drifts and see what we can find. They're here, they're occasionally here. Basically what I'm doing is I'm just driving up current and drifting across the flat. I'll use my trolling motor every once in a while to like readjust to the right depth, but otherwise I'm trying to make really, really, really long drifts. Fingers crossed I see one. So that one was just swimming up the line. I got a cast 10 feet to its left. It swam over. I watched it just go boop, set the hook, and it just stripped drag. Mind-boggling. I had no idea that they were that strong. Almost got down to the backing. So I think I'll keep doing this, and when I hook them, I'm gonna tighten the drag just a little, not as much as I did, and I'll try to chase them down, and just kind of get them tired out. If God forbid, if I hook another one, because that'll be the hardest part. All right, everybody, we are back at home. Thank you for sticking around. I know that was a long video. But now I want to go over the gear that we used. So actually, before we go over gear, let's talk about spots. Spots that I was looking for. So we'll start with the tarpon. So tarpon on high tide, I would look for cuts, and along those cuts, you'll see these kind of little pockets inside the mangroves. And I would skip up into those pockets. Those tarpon were deep against the bank on the high tide. And on the low tide, they would get pulled out. I would look for islands that would have deep cuts. They didn't necessarily have to be to a channel, but as long as there's a deep cut, you'll be able to see it on a map. There's these deep cuts, and those tarpon would kind of congregate in there. Really good hot spots for them. The bonefish, we were looking for areas, again, needed to be near a deep main cut, so not just a pothole or a large hole next to an island, but we needed a large channel nearby. And then the bottom structure is really important. You don't want that really, really thick grass. You want those kind of blotchy areas. You're gonna see a little bit of grass, a little bit of coral, a little bit of like almost hard sand, really white sand. If you get into that water that's kind of that brown tannic color, we never saw fish in it. It was always when it was kind of that clear, that blue, that green, with that blotchy bottom.
as the tide would come in and out, they would use that area to kind of flush into the flat and flush back off. That was the hot spot for finding the bonefish. The permit, the whole trip, I ended up seeing about 12 permit. They were always on the same flats that the bonefish were on, just when the tide came up. So the spots that I'd be looking for bonefish, I was looking in that 1 to 2 feet of water. I would come back to that flat as the tide pushed in. Now there's gonna be about 3 to 4 feet of water on that flat, and that's where I would look for the permit. Now to look for the permit, I couldn't sit on the trolling motor, I couldn't drive into the flat very fast, so I would start way up current, turn everything off, and I'd still drop the trolling motor in the water, but what I would do is occasionally turn the head of the trolling motor, and the current would just push me down the bank. The video for fishing this stuff is not great because sometimes I'd be standing there for 1 to 2 hours just looking around. And unfortunately I can't just run the GoPro that long. I'd run out of battery, I'd run out of storage space. So it's kind of these quick clips. As soon as I see something, I had the camera turn on. So that's kind of why you don't see like an initial standing on the front looking around and then sight the bonefish or sight the permit. It's like a boom, go, cast, because that's about the amount of time that you've got. Once you see the fish, you need to figure out the direction they're going, get that bait out and far enough ahead of them, and then they'll come to it. But now I want to go over the gear that we used. I ended up using one rod the entire trip for the tarpon, for the bonefish, for the permit, the whole 9 yards. Same rod, same line, same leader, same bait. So let's go over it. We got the Nomad Designs C-Core rod. This is a 7'6" medium light. I've got it paired with that Diawa Fuego 3000, spooled up with 10-pound Power Pro 8-strand braid. The bait is this ZMan salty Ned shrimp. It's about 2.5 inches, and we were fishing it on that 1/10 to 1/15 ounce Ned lock head. Now with these Ned lock heads, I want to show you something real quick because this is really important. So there are 2 heads you can get from ZMan for your small finesse baits. You've got the Ned locks, these finesse Ned locks, and you've got the finesse Bulletz. Now they come in the same weight, the same hook, but you'll see right here they're different. Hopefully you can see that. The one that I was fishing that I was losing all the fish on is the Ned locks, this finesse Ned locks. You'll see that mushroom head. What that does is causes that bait to sit on the bottom when it's not moving. And what's happening is those bonefish come up like this, and for whatever reason when they eat it, I think the hook was getting, you can see it only got at the very tip of my finger. They have a nose that kind of sticks out, and so I think that hook was just pulling out. Whereas the finesse bullet right here, this one when it sits on the bottom, it kind of just sits like this. So when those bonefish came over and ate, it always got stuck in the side of the mouth. So good note for next time, if you're gonna fish this Ned shrimp or other Ned style baits, for the bonefish, for the tarpon, for the permit, make sure you go with that little bullet. Alright guys, thanks again for watching. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, do the whole 9 yards if you want. Definitely ask any of the questions you've got about gear, about what types of spots I'm looking for all that information down below, and I'm happy to help you guys out.